Oh, man, it's Marc Cram again. Hey, Mark. Mark. If he sees us, he'll try to invite us to his birthday party. Ooh, the nerve of that jerk. Oh, it's coming. Quick, hide. Hey, guys. Hi. He didn't invite us. Hey, that was close, huh? I can't believe he didn't even try to invite us. I mean, how could you not invite us? Yeah, he saw us and said hi and just kept walking. Who does he think he is not inviting us to his party? Oh, wait a minute. I thought you said you didn't want to go. That's right. I don't. Matter of fact, I'm glad he didn't invite me to his party.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Mark. Happy birthday to you.
It's Mark's birthday, Fantas. Are you excited?
Oh God, that was painful. If anybody's still here after the worst podcast intro of all time.
Yeah, this is Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. I'm Adam.
I'm Aaron, and this week it's Mark's birthday. Our new friend, Mark.
Yeah, Marc Cram. Happy B-Day, Mark. I don't know if you noticed that, but his he doesn't have a traditionally spelled name.
Yeah, M-A-R-C, because he's trying to be edgy.
Well, I've realized, I think in the last episode we were speculating why his name's Cram. Mark and Cram it's a palindrome. Mark is Cram backwards.
Oh, Mark. Oh.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I don't know what to say after that. Fascinating.
This was a fascinating episode, wasn't it?
Fascinating. Fascinating. Fascinating.
Oh wow, that's some spelling bee champ info right there.
You know it.
All right, and now let's join Coolio on the big orange couch. Kenan and Kel emerge on stage as they always do, wearing semi-normal outfits this time.
Yeah, they're normal.
Yeah. Sometimes they're very weird. Kel is wearing like a sweater with a jean jacket over it.
Yep. And Kenan is just wearing his normal garb.
Your standard Kenan look.
Yeah, he's wearing like the t-shirt with a open half sleeve button down and a little chain, and yeah, they're just dressed normally. But Kel jumps onto the stage and starts making some hoo-ha, hoo-ha, hoo-ha sounds.
Yeah, I did notice that. He's like all, I don't know, juiced up with energy.
He's got lots of energy.
And he needs it for what he's about to do.
Yeah.
They're talking about what the show's going to entail. Lots of partying and dancing. And Kel demonstrates. Lots
of dancing, yeah. Kel starts busting a move, cutting some rugs, and pretty instantly.
Cool dancing, right?
Oh yeah, he does like a horse stance if you do yoga, and he starts like hitting his legs and doing this weird thing with his arms, and it's pretty fun and exciting.
He stops the music and everyone like gives him a little applause.
Well, Kenan stops the music. Kel would have kept dancing all night.
Yeah, that's true. And Kenan's asking like, "Oh, why'd you do that?" And he's like, "Because I gotta dance."
He has to dance, and
resumes.
And keeps dancing. And then Kenan snaps it out again. Kenan does not want Kel to dance. But Kenan's like, don't worry. We're going to have plenty of... What does he say?
I know he calls him funky.
No, he doesn't. You always get these wrong. It's stubby.
Stubby? Really?
Stubby. It's stubby.
Man, there's something about the audio quality of mine. Okay. Yeah, so he calls him stubby.
Also, about the audio quality. The CBS All Access has a little bit better audio quality. And so... but I'm still mad because it cuts out the last scene. It cuts out the outro. It did it again. It's so stupid. So I'm probably going to cancel CBS All Access because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, the good news is as of tomorrow, Paramount Plus is going to have Kenan and Kel.
Okay, good, because I'll sign up for them. I do not want to pay CBS anymore. They stink. They have a bad service. Sorry, CBS, you stink. Make it better.
I apologize. We've endorsed you. I retract our endorsement.
Yeah, me too. I retract it. Okay, anyways, well, the theme song, it sounds like Coolio says, "To the good greatness."
To the good greatness. Okay.
It sounds very clear. Maybe they slowed it down a little bit.
they were trying to figure it out themselves.
They're like, what does this say?
But yeah, no, it's a back and forth of Kenan and Kel arguing about dancing, and Kenan says, "You'll dance enough during the show, right?"
Yep, and says, "Come on, Stubby." And then he walks off stage. Kel yells in one of those meta moments, "Why do you always have to call me a funny name?" And then he runs off stage as well.
Yes, and we enter Rigby's, as we oft do. But this time, it's Chris and Charla instead of the usual Chris and Kenan.
Yeah, a new dynamic duo, maybe. Charla enters, ready to get to work, and Chris is climbing a ladder. And Adam, what is he doing?
He's dusting the high shelves.
As he tells Charla, which she doesn't care. She's okay.
As Charla gets into position behind, wielding the power of the counter, Kenan and Kel rush in.
They're running away from whom, Adam?
It's Marc Cram, Kenan's neighbor.
That name backwards is Marc Cram.
Yes. Wow, I didn't know it was a palindrome.
That's all we have to say about that. Okay, they quickly make it known to Charla that they're running away from Mark because Mark's trying to invite them to his birthday party.
His lame birthday party. And, Kel's, like, on lookout duty at the door. And he's shouting, like, oh, he's coming quick. And really...
He's, like, shouting it outside in the door. Yeah.
Charlotte doesn't want to wasn't a lie to Mark.
Charlotte's so nice, she doesn't want to lie. So, well, the one thing she says to Kenan is, well, why would you think that he would come and look for you here in this place that you work every day?
And he's all, I do so love when you're witty.
Yes. Then the Kenan and Charlotte dynamic is deepening here.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte's not comfortable lying, but Kenan doesn't care, so Kenan and Kel rush to the back room.
Kenan tells her to make up anything, and he goes to the back.
Yes.
As they rush back, what happens?
Oh, they knock Chris's ladder down, which is like right in that like hallway area, and and Chris is now dangling from the high shelf.
Yeah, second time this has happened in Rigby's. If you recall when Kel was dangling.
I don't know if I recall. Oh yes, I do remember now.
Yeah, he was like fixing the light, I think.
Yeah. He's fixing the light. Okay, Chris is now dangling. Mark enters, says HELLO. And invites Charlotte to his birthday party.
Yeah, she's like, cool, thanks. And Chris falls as Mark's inquiring about Kenan.
Chris and Charlotte rush over, and Chris yells, "Oh, Mr. Potter!" So polite.
Okay, Chris, are you okay? And he's just like, that depends. Who am I? And he passes out.
My very non-expert medical diagnosis would be Chris has a concussion and should see a doctor.
Would he also say that he's been, like, enlightened? Because he's asking who he is.
Oh.
Who am I?
He has been thrown into the Enlightenment, perhaps.
Yeah.
Starts to go on a Descartes route of questioning. And anyways, what I do want to say about Chris falling is that the diagnosis for a concussion is that he should rest, and he should not do any sudden movements or see any bright lights.
Okay, good advice.
And we'll see in the rest of this episode that Chris does not listen to that. So This is a bad example for kids, because if you get hurt, you should go to the doctor. But Chris didn't do that.
Actually, that's a great mini lesson in this first scene.
Mini lesson. Yes. Also, when you're setting up a ladder, be very careful, and you should put most of your weight on the ladder so that so two teenage kids can't just knock it over.
This is an engineering thing that Chris was also disobeying. Maintain 3 points of contact.
Yes.
Yeah, so he had like 2 hands off, and look what happens, Chris. You get a concussion.
Well, sometimes, Adam, you got to go 2 hands off, but he just was simply dusting shelves. He could have got a longer duster.
Yeah, he has like one of those French-made like little prop dusters.
Prop duster, yeah. Okay, so let's cut to the next scene. Adam, where are we in the next scene?
We're in Capone High School, where Kenan and Kel go to school.
It has a name?
Yeah, I think it was Ditch Day Afternoon. They called it that.
Capone High School?
Yeah.
After Al Capone?
I guess so.
Not like after some U.S. president?
No idea. That's what it was only one word a long time ago.
Is that the only person they had from Chicago? Was Al Capone even from Chicago?
I think he was New York, right?
That's what I don't.
Certainly did a lot of stuff there. But yeah, no, Capone High School, and what's Kenan doing?
Well, he is rearranging all the trash in his locker so that it doesn't fall.
I have been there. Have you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding?
Actually, this is most of my life.
Yes, that was definitely when I ran track freshman year. We had the skinny red lockers outside of the nice locker room.
Oh yeah.
And so I would just pile stuff in and just back my shoulder into it, and yep.
He's got a nice full-size locker for like a junior, you know? I guess junior makes sense.
Junior? Isn't he a sophomore? Oh no, he's a junior because there's season 3.
Yeah, it matches the years closely. I do want to say Capone was like a mob boss during the of the Chicago outfit.
Oh.
So yeah, he did spend some time there, but why is a high school named after him?
I don't know. I guess this is in the era when they named things poorly.
I guess so. We're going to see later on. We're going to see some era inappropriate costumes and the like.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Cal wants to borrow a pencil from Kenan, and Kenan is frightened because that will destroy the feng shui of his locker.
Well, yeah, well, it's like Jenga, and so if he takes the pencil out, it'll just mess everything up. Everything will fall. Cal does it anyways, and Kenan's like, "Oh, I guess it didn't fall." And then it all falls. Pretty funny opening scene. Kind of random, but pretty funny.
The first 2/3 of the episode, I think, are pretty tight.
Yeah, I would agree. They ran out of time in the end.
So Mark's going around, and Kenan's like, hide. If he sees us, he's going to invite us. And they
just do not. They're being very mean to Mark.
I think the context of the other Mark episodes isn't brought in here, and it should be. Because... last episode, they trashed his house and stole from him.
Right. Yeah. You'd think his parents wouldn't want them to come.
Yeah, that would be a perfect reason why they would be invited.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And so, but then even Charla, when she was handed the invitation, she was like, I don't really want to go. So yeah, it makes you wonder what is Mark's reputation at the school?
Yeah, he's no Janice. But he doesn't seem to be friends with everyone.
Not really. Anyways, he does approach Kenan and Kel, who are not hiding very successfully, after Kel tried to jump in the locker and Kenan hid behind a book.
Yeah, the locker, the thing that's clearly fully filled. So he just sees them and says, "Hey," and keeps walking. To which Kenan does a 180.
You just know. I mean, you know how petty Kenan is, but he's like, "Why didn't he invite me?"
Yeah. He immediately goes from oh God, don't invite me, to how dare he?
Yeah. He wants everything. He wants to have his cake and eat it too. He wants to be the one who has control, who says no.
He's like a thunderstorm of indignation. And just the smallest thing sets him off like a powder keg.
Well, he wants to be in charge of his whole entire life, and he is just a kid. Back to the power dynamic.
Yeah, but in that control too. Kenan loves to be in control.
He likes to be behind the red counter when really he belongs on the front.
Yeah, maybe control freak is a good term for him, because when it finds out that Mark has the power in the situation, he turns on him.
That's right. And he yells down the hallway "I didn't want to be invited anyways."
Yeah.
Just it's really actually pretty embarrassing for Kenan. He's so reliant on other people's perception of him.
Yeah, he's very dependent on that stuff.
Yes, very high school.
Yes. The other cool thing about Kenan, Kenan turns to Cal and is like, who cares? No one's going to be at that stupid party anyway. And then a pair of girls walks by and they're like, I can't wait to go to Mark's party.
It's going to be so fun. Everybody's going to be there. Kenan starts to twitch a little bit. It's like the classic
The first of several twitches this episode from Kenan.
It's so predictable, honestly. It's getting to the point where it's we love the show, but I know that nothing is going to end well.
Yeah, last episode was, I think, the halfway point of the show.
Oh wow!
There are fewer episodes before us than behind us.
Wow.
Yeah,
we made it. Almost a year.
I can't believe it. Can you?
No, it was the fastest year ever, and the slowest year ever.
Depends on how you look at it.
A quarantine podcast was born.
The other thing I want to point out is that this episode is written by Savage Steve Holland, same as last one. So he likes Mark, and I think he might be like 2 out of 3 episodes of his you don't like.
Yeah, I was looking up Mark. I can't find his age, but he's definitely older than Kenan and Kel.
Yeah, I was also surprised with that. He is not like listed anywhere age-wise. He went on to become a producer, and he's got this crazy Italian name.
Yeah,
it's a Biagio
Messina.
Yeah. Biagio Messina.
Biagio.
He's got a wife who's also like a co-producer on stuff named. Her name's spelled Joke, and I think she's like Finnish, so it might be Yoke.
Oh, well, I see Yoke Productions. Maybe that's their production company.
Yeah, it is. They do like some like what do you call it, like murder documentary stuff. I mean, good for him.
Fascinating. Yeah, they're making it. Oh my God! Wait a second. They earned a living acting in television commercials and directing videos for the Department of Public Safety. He also wrote plays for the DARE program.
Whoa!
That's amazing.
Well, it was
like,
funny.
You know those like training videos?
Yeah.
like the school shooter videos they make you watch.
Oh wow.
Like that's like he's like in those.
The school trauma like carried with him, and then he had to educate other people.
Oh my! I bet if I go back and watch one of those, just go,
oh
my
man,
God.
I'd love to see him.
Just like I've always wondered, like who are these people? Like what are they doing? In this
I will
world?
say, but by photos of him now, he is just looks like a regular person. He looks like Pete Buttigieg. He like just normal man.
Normal man. Like, oh, that's a man.
Yeah.
I hope we we should send him this episode. We'll try to be nicer to him.
I'll try to connect him on our Twitter.
We'll get an interview.
That'd be amazing. Or with Yoke.
With Yoke Productions. Anyways, continue where we were.
Back at the Rockmores, Kenan's trying to speculate why Mark didn't invite him, and Kel has a theory, but as Kel delivers his theory, what's he doing?
He's vacuuming. So he turns on the vacuum and he starts talking, and then you can't hear anything he's saying. It's almost like the modern day Wi-Fi glitch, where it's like, well, I was actually about to say,
but with the vacuum. So yeah, Kenan, they do like the back and forth 2 times, and Kenan eventually Kel runs around in circles and laces himself up with the cord. I don't know about you, but that happens to me every time I vacuum.
Oh yeah, that happens to me. I lagged out, but I literally, as we were talking about this scene, and then Kel yells, "Unwind me!"
Yeah.
And Kenan starts to unwind him. He asks him what he's doing, and Kel's like, "Well, I was pretending I was an astronaut, and I was vacuuming up rock samples on the surface of the moon." Which you gotta love the creativity and the childlike wonder.
That's pretty good. That's not a face of Kel that we see often.
No.
Basically, like literally in space, Kel.
An in-space Kel. I love it.
Yeah. They're interrupted by the rest of the Rockmores arriving. And Kenan's once little sister, Kyra.
Oh, she grew up like 3 years in the time frame that we saw her last.
Yeah, I gotta say, last season she turned 10. So
she's like at least 13.
13.
Yeah.
I agree. And she's like, 2 feet taller.
Right.
So
she's like getting up there. She's like above Kenan's shoulder.
Yeah. And she has put her new height to the test because she beat her father in basketball.
He yells, "I was robbed!"
Then he accuses her of being a cheater. So
this family is full of sore losers.
Kenan's mom hears about his troubles with Mark and just says, "Why don't you just go next door and ask him?"
We have a little part first. Kyra,
right.
We find out that Kyra was invited to Mark's party, but Kenan wasn't.
Yes, she has an invitation. Kenan's like, "Ha, I knew it!" And then he reads it out, and it's cordially inviting Kyra.
Not Kenan. He thought it was his. Mm-hmm. And then Kenan, of course, is like, "That's okay. Nothing to worry about."
Then his mom very clearly points out, like, it's probably just a misunderstanding.
So, yeah, Cheryl is basically just like, "Oh, Kenan, that stinks. Why don't you go just find out what happened instead of trying to make all these schemes and plans and plots and theories. And Kenan's like, oh, what? So they go upstairs to help Kyra with the costume. And Kenan's like, nah, me and Kel are going to have more fun than Mark. And then we find out that Kel can't go.
E2 Kel? Because Kel was invited to Mark's party.
and Kenan wasn't.
Yeah.
So just like the indictment rain, like just what is that? That's not a word. Well, that's a word, but he's not the president. What is it called? Anger, rage. There's a word.
Indigo.
Indigo.
Indignation.
His indignation.
Is Indigo Nation.
It's indignation. That's a good word for this situation, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
I'm looking up the definition right now. Keep talking.
You can tell a lot of this Steve Holland writing Kel, because it's a very similar conversation. Like, why didn't you say anything is what Kenan shouts at him. That's how the last episode ended.
Right. Indignation is anger or annoyance provoked by what is perceived as unfair treatment.
100% that definition, yeah.
That's the word. That's the word for Kenan right now. I think what's the guy's name? Savage Steve Holland. I think he writes Kenan as Samuel L. Jackson, and I think he writes Kel as Eddie Murphy.
That's pretty accurate.
Because Kel is just super Eddie Murphy, like with the whole like getting wound up in the vacuum cord. But I just got mad Eddie Murphy vibes. Yeah,
Kel's like, I did say something. I said yes. And Kenan has a lot. He like basically curses out Mark, and like as he does that, Kel turns the vacuum on accidentally, so you don't hear the terrible things he's shouting.
It's pretty funny. It's kind of like the in SpongeBob. The dolphin noises.
It just like that.
Yep. So back to what is it?
Capone High School.
Capone High School. Kenan, they're back at the locker. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I love Kel's outfit. Gotta point it out. He's wearing like the backwards whatever hat, the Irish hat. He's wearing a green plaid shirt, a solid green plaid undershirt, and then green windbreakers, like windbreaker pants.
Yeah,
he looks like a Irish leprechaun. Yeah, he's really respecting the Irish here.
They see Mark hand out invitations, and Kenan's all like, murmuring to himself. But then Kel says, "Hey, what?" Or they plan. They're like, "Why don't you go over there and check out his backpack? The invitation's probably in there."
Yeah, but before that happened, this weird-looking guy with a mustache comes over, looks at Kenan, and he says,
"Kenan says, what are you looking at? Nothing. Not your ears." They moves along.
Yes, that's what he says. That's what he says. He said, "Not your ears," which is very strange.
Probably, I think a teacher, which makes it a little funnier, right?
Yeah, he looked like a teacher, but also like, yeah, he looked like a teacher. So Kenan's like, "Oh, you know what? Mark probably just forgot, And so they devised this plan and a plot to go, and Kenan's gonna sift through Mark's backpack to see if he left it in there, which is a fantastic plan, Adam. Foolproof.
Yeah, foolproof. And while Kel distracts him, Kel, good for speaking out loud. So they engage with the plan, and I have here what Kel says to Mark.
Oh yes, please read it.
He says, "I want to talk to you about the world today." About the world today and my thoughts on the world today, and I can't do it, and then he runs away.
He's just incapable of holding a small talk.
Yeah, and Mark turns around. As he turns and sees Kel's leave, he sees Kenan with like both arms in this green backpack.
And Kenan goes, "I got this one, Adam." He goes, "I can explain my knee collapsed because of gingivitis, and I fell into your backpack."
Yes, and before he can reply, the bell rings, and Mark rushes to class like the nerd that he is.
Yeah, can't be late to class. Meanwhile, Kenan's still holding the backpack, which is strange because don't you think Mark needs his backpack? And then this big burly guy comes over and asks why Kenan's sifting through his backpack.
Yeah, this giant high schooler, probably linebacker, right?
Oh, he's enormous. He's just massive man.
Yeah. So we go into the classroom itself, which I'm like 90% sure is the classroom from last episode, but all the desks were flipped. Like rotated 180.
Oh. Yeah.
And there's some kids in class talking to each other, hushed voices.
Well, let's begin with Mark spraying down the projector.
Yeah, that's true.
Just like a true nerd, teacher's pet. And Mark's telling this one guy in class, he's like, "Hey, don't tell Kenan. Make sure nobody lets Kenan know about the party, because I don't want him to feel bad about his ear surgery."
Yeah, and ear surgery. What's that about?
It basically finds out that Kenan is self-conscious about his ears, and so he's gonna get them smaller.
And Mark tells the story of how he learned this, and we cut back to earlier in Rigby's.
A flashback to Charla, Chris, and Mark.
Yes, apparently after Chris fainted, Mark, pursued his with asking Charla what's going on.
Not really caring about Chris, by the way.
Yeah, even though he called him by name and asked for his help earlier. But Charla, her excuse is that Kenan, because he told her to make up anything, is getting his ears reduced.
Yes, and Adam, why did she say ears?
Because she looked across Mark and saw ears of corn for sale.
Right, so she's trying to, support Kenan's lie here. The lie, which was just straight up mean. Right.
Aaron, what is a kernel of corn? What part is that?
A kernel that's like the little tiny ball, like the piece of corn. It's called a kernel.
It's the tag on the sign says 15 cents a kernel.
Oh.
So are you supposed, when you want corn,
God.
do you have to buy it and count out?
No. Nobody does that. It probably meant per ear.
It said ear of corn, 15 cents a kernel.
Maybe it's. Oh my gosh! Let me see if I can find it. No, that would be the most expensive ear of corn in the world.
I know.
Oh, it does say that. It says it right there.
Yeah, I have to say I've looked up corn. Yes.
Ear of corn, 15 cents a kernel. That's what it says.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Maybe that's what they call it out west. Maybe they have different names for it out in Chicago.
That could be it.
Like pop. Orange pop.
To make it crazier, Google says that corn kernels are the fruits of the corn.
Right, so it's like the thing you eat.
Yeah, right.
Fruits.
The fruits, it's really...
The fruits of the corn plant. No, yeah, okay. Anyways, enough corn talk. Kenan is getting his ears reduced. That's what Mark has been told as a lie because Kenan didn't want to interact with Mark and be invited to his party. And so Mark is going around telling everybody, don't make Kenan feel bad because I'm not inviting him to the party. I don't want him to know about the party because he's going to feel bad because he's getting his ears reduced and he can't be there.
That said, Mark has the right intentions. However, when he tells everyone this in class, they basically make fun of Kenan and look at him like he's crazy or deformed or...
Yeah, and it makes me think that Mark doesn't pick up on social cues very well.
Great call. That's definitely the case
because
here.
that's clearly like he's doing it out of good intentions, but high schoolers don't have good intentions. I mean,
right.
My high schoolers do, but most generally stereotypical high schoolers.
Well, I have to say something about this this particular high schooler that he's talking to, who's wearing an orange shirt. Did you recognize him?
Oh man, no. Was it Ludacris?
No, good guess.
I saw a video of Ludacris flying a plane. By the way, he got his pilot's license. Just so everybody's aware. Who is that?
That's Nick Cannon.
No, it's not. Oh my God, he's
Cannon,
a baby.
Yep. Yeah, little 18-year-old Nick Cannon.
Oh, he's such a little baby. That's funny.
Yeah, and you can.
Wow.
Yeah, so really, it's a great call out here.
You know, for a while I thought Nickelodeon was named after Nick Cannon.
He had a very weird presence with the show later on. Right?
We had a weird presence with Nickelodeon. He was the host of the network. He would come on in between shows and tell you what was coming on next. I don't know why they did that.
It might be because he was named with Nick. Maybe
I thought it was Nick Cannon's studio network for the longest time. I'm like, oh, Nickelodeon. That makes sense. Nick Cannon.
Yeah, no. So that's who that is. So that's a fun Easter egg.
Anyways, so Kenan walks in with Nick Cannon in the building. Kenan walks in, and everybody starts looking at him like all funny.
Well, first when Kenan walks in, he's with the big giant guy.
Yeah.
And their exchange is hilarious.
Yeah, it's good.
He says to him, "And that's why my arm was in your backpack." And he says, "I see. Makes sense. What a delightful misunderstanding."
It's like somebody took Kenan's ridiculous bait.
I love that. That's a perfect subversion. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great subversion, and it's I mean, like, it was clearly patronizing if you were a normal human being, but he was saying it super genuinely. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Thank you for letting me know what happened."
I like how they worked. So, yeah, they just off screen. Kenan is awesome at talking to people.
Yeah, he's like, "Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to walk in, and I want you to act like you're very happy that I lied to you."
I think it's also worth pointing out that before he walks in, it's not just Nick Cannon that gets gets the tip from Mark. Kel is told this as well, and Kel believes Mark.
Oh yeah. Kel is like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that." Kenan is his best friend, has been his best friend for years. Like, flashback to the end of season 2 with the walkie-talkie episode. They are best friends. They are brothers. And he hears this thing about Kenan that would have been true for a very long time. Like, he's self-conscious about his ears. That's not, and he's going to get surgery. That doesn't just come up overnight. And Cal just innocently believes Mark, his new friend.
Yeah, he has more faith in his friend than Kenan.
But, I mean, that makes sense. Mark's more of an upright guy than Kenan.
As we'll see, Mark really confides in him. He's like, "Keep it a secret because we don't want to hurt Kenan's feelings." And I think that's where Kel's good intentions come in.
Right, because he does care about his friends. His friend.
Kenan arrives and everyone, Nick Cannon's like, "Here's Kenan, everybody."
Everybody cheers. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, everyone laughs at him.
I wonder where everybody in this room is now.
we know where Nick Cannon is.
Yeah, we can find where he is. But I just want to know where everybody else, I want them all to be together again.
We know where Biagio is.
Yeah. I just want to hang out with Chris. I just want to I want to go drink some wine with him.
I'd like to see the one thing that he's doing now if that's not groceries. Yeah, back to Rigby's. A lot of short scenes this episode.
A lot of short scenes, yeah, I noticed that. We're back to Rigby's, and who is checking out behind the counter?
The Crams.
Mr., Mrs., and Mark.
And they're like, "Don't forget the spinach. Last time we got spinach, we ran out. How embarrassing."
And they all start chuckling. And Chris looks at them and laughs and smiles like he gets it.
Yeah.
It was a very brief moment. But I feel like these are Chris's people.
Now Chris is also informed by the Crams that Kenan's sensitive about his ears and he's getting them reduced. So Chris, who's employed Kenan for many years, again, immediately believes the Crams.
I never knew he was so sensitive about his ears.
It's a pretty good sitcom premise that everyone believes this made-up story.
Well, I mean, you should believe people who are as honest as Marc Cram. That's a pretty good rule, right? I mean, even though he was wrong, but he believed Charlotte. I mean, that's the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, Adam, how much was their grocery total at this little tiny corner store, which is not the kind of place you'd go to buy party supplies?
In 6 or 7 bags, it's $342.
This is ridiculous.
Okay, maybe one of them's like a catering tray or something like that. I could see Chris selling those.
Yeah, and they go, "That is some chunk of change," hands it over and laughs.
Yeah. In today's money, that would be $548.
That is too much money for a birthday party.
That's insane. Yeah.
You're not even going go-karting or anything? Skydiving?
Yeah, no, just having a bunch of people over.
You could go skydiving twice with that money.
Yes. So Kenan comes in and really they them off, and he's like, "Oh, hello, Crams. That's a lot of food for 3 people."
And they look terrified. They look like there are these grown adults and Marc Cram all with these bags of groceries. They look like it's the Grim Reaper in front of them, and they're just trying to tiptoe around him out the front door. They just do not know what to say.
another mini lesson is that if someone's different than you or doing something, even like reconstructive or like superficial surgery, don't treat them like a monster.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a 90s bad taste in the 90s right here.
Yeah, I agree with that. Kenan says to Chris, he's like, people keep looking at me funny, and then Chris is just staring at him.
He's like, see? And then Cal comes in and like it's just staring at Kenan's ears.
Yeah.
And Kenan's like so mad. It's like, what's happening?
Yeah, he shouts at him like, why are you looking at me like that? And Cal, like, in the same sentence goes, I can't take it anymore. You broke me, okay? You broke me.
He is just the worst at keeping secrets.
Yeah, well, actually, he's great at keeping secrets, but he reveals that he has this big secret. Like it's nothing.
Like that he just lets that off his chest.
So he knows why, and he goes into like fetal position on the counter because he doesn't want to tell Kenan.
But Kenan knows Cal's weakness because they are best friends. And so, Adam, what does Kenan do?
Goes over to the soda cooler, pulls out a 2-liter of orange soda. I don't know if you know this, Aaron, but Cal loves orange soda.
Is it true?
Mm-hmm. He does. So,
Nice. So, and what happens to this bottle of orange soda that Kenan grabs?
he starts pouring on the floor.
Cal's losing his mind.
Yeah.
No! What did the orange soda do to you?
Yeah, so eventually he breaks. He's like, I'll tell you. And what does Kel see before he tells Kenan?
Kel sees Mark's, like, vision. It's like, don't tell Kenan about the ear surgery. I don't want him to feel bad. It's like the exact clip.
Yeah, it's all echoey. It's like giants next to him.
Like a vision, like an apparition. And it's massive. Yeah. It's way bigger than Kel in the shot.
The shot is set up so that Kenan can like a quarter of the screen. And the other third is his memory.
I do love the Kenan and Kel, like, subconscious
Oh, yeah.
thread throughout the series.
We'll be going back there soon. I know it.
The best of episodes.
Yeah. So Kel turns away from Kenan because he's about to lie to him.
That's right. He just can't stand to look at Kenan. But Kel is very upset by this, and he's crying, and he says, "Okay, I don't want to hurt Kenan's feelings, so let me just say, okay, Mark didn't invite you because he doesn't like you."
Which, like, at the moment, if you look at Kenan, it hurts him too. It hurts him more.
Oh my god, it's like he got punched in the gut and like all of his friends, like, it's like the realization that some people don't like you.
Yeah, Kenan's all like, he doesn't like me. He's all like getting teared up, so they're both like crying as Kel lies to him because of this misplaced information that Kenan started.
That it would have been better if Kel just told the truth.
Yeah, telling the truth, I think, is, or maybe it's about lies, right? They were joking about that in the intro of last episode, but Kenan's lie, like, you know, lies are the focus here, and Kenan's lie, or getting people to lie they didn't want to, got him into this mess.
It's almost like Arnold Schwarzenegger in True Lies. Like, that's how I feel. I feel like Marc Cram is the Arnold Schwarzenegger here, and Kenan and Kel are just like supporting characters that get killed. Like,
so Kenan, and I just want to point out one more time, Mark should not like Kenan.
No.
He broke into his house and stole his, like, watches, and he got peanut butter everywhere.
Well, that was Kel, but Kenan's fault.
So, and Kenan makes yet another declaration about Mark. I'll make sure he has a party he never forgets.
With another twitch.
Yeah. The twitch continues.
This time it's like a big twitch. It's like a head tilt twitch.
Our next scene's in the Rockmoors, and Kenan's gone full twitch.
Oh, he's all twitchy.
Yeah, he's like, he's got jitters as he's, what is he doing?
Well, he is stapling a box that looks like a gift shut. And there's bottles of motor oil on the coffee table, which, you know, for somebody who cares about their coffee table as much as the Rockmores, still, like, that's not good.
He also has a pair of glasses that he puts on to demonstrate what'll happen to Mark. So sometimes the sitcom-y nature of the show makes me think that it's like, it's meant to, like, it could be shown in black and white.
It's very laughable. But it's like almost like a skit, right? He's like playing as many times as possible that they can play characters in their own show. Like Kenan does it multiple times this episode, as we'll see.
Yeah, so he puts on the glasses. Yeah, Mark, thank you for the gift. Blah, and he's motor oil everywhere. That'll teach him.
It's so stupid.
Roger and Cheryl are. What are they doing this evening?
Well, they walk through and they walk through the door and they're like, "Who are you talking to, son?" He's like, "Nobody." And they are going to a ball game, a White Sox game to be exact.
I love that the Rockmores are always doing fun things.
Yeah, it is kind of nice, isn't it?
They're never doing the same thing twice, too. Like in this episode, they were playing basketball and going to a baseball game. Like that's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. They have fun things to do. It must be nice to have things to do. Cue pandemic living.
Making podcasts.
Oh, God. On TV shows that nobody watches and cares to listen about.
Oh, people love Kenan and Kel. I see it every week on Twitter.
Well, that's good.
And they're enjoying their show, too. So I'm happy that we can fill that time.
I hope so.
So, yeah, they leave. And Kyra comes down in her costume. I don't think we mentioned this exactly. It's a costume party.
Oh, yeah, we didn't mention.
What's Kyra dressed as?
She is a hockey player with a black eye. It's a great costume, honestly.
Good look. I like it. Also, every time they open the front door, you can hear the party music from next door.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand that.
Yeah, so as Kenan's like, well, Kyra says to Kenan, I'm like, oh, that's so nice. You got Mark a present even though you weren't invited. And Kenan's just like twitching like crazy. He deserves it. He deserves everything in this box.
That's so terrible. He asked Kyra to bring it over next door, and then in walks Kel, who starts dancing. And what is Kel dressed as, Adam?
Well, as he explains to Kenan in a moment, he's like, "Oh no, I just put this outfit together. It's nothing." But in reality, he's wearing a cowboy hat, a neckerchief, a cowboy shirt, and giant brown what do you call them? Horse wearing pants.
That's right. And Adam, I can't help but think that that Kel didn't have space cowboys on his mind, and I do want to say that there is a movie called Space Cowboy, and it comes out in 2000, and so I have a feeling that it was influenced by this episode of Kel pretending to be in outer space and then pretending to be a cowboy. But that's all I have to say about that.
Well, either that or I think Wild West is shortly after this. So one of the Wild Wild with Will Smith. So I think it's worth pointing out that Kel's dance moves are also cowboy centric now. That's a good dancer when they incorporate their this is a future Dancing with the Stars. I think a second place contestant.
It's true. He really knows how to dance.
And incorporate his environments and his outfits.
That's right.
So he says a very sweet thing to Kenan, which is, because you're uninvited, I'm going to stay here with you tonight.
That's right, and it is very sweet. And Kenan's like, "No, Kel, I know you just want to go. So you can go." And he's like, "Okay."
Really? Great. Yeah. And he and Kyra rush out the door. And do you hear what Kenan says?
No, what does he say?
He's like, wait, I was being sarcastic.
Yep. And then he's like, "Oh, she forgot about the present. That's okay. I guess I'll just have to deliver it myself." It's twitch.
Which, this plan should have just happened without the gift. If he really wanted to go to the party, he should just disguised himself and gone over.
The gift is stupid.
Yeah.
The Kenan is just scheming this whole episode, and he does not have to. He is so caught up in the dirtiness of the scheme that he can't just see the forest through the trees.
Yeah, the revenge here. And like the past 2 episodes, I think, this third, we get to the final scene in the house that kind of falls apart. We go to the Cram's house, and it is party central over there.
Yeah, Adam, what are some of the costumes like?
Oh, man, we've got a witch, a nurse, there's a construction worker, a skeleton, a clown. There's also an Arabian guy.
Oh God. There is an Arabian.
Like pre 9/11, you can.
Oh my God.
There's also a guy with I would call a Mexican guy, who's got like a sombrero and the mustache and.
Yep. It's
There's a devil and our like named characters have so Nick Cannon is dressed like a chef, which is really funny.
Oh, that is funny.
Chris Potter is there.
I love it.
And he is what is he?
He is a hot dog, as he tells Kyra and Kel. He goes, "I'm a hot dog." It's very clear that he's a hot dog.
Yeah. The Crams, the parents are dressed as, I think like a belly dancer, and like a bird.
Looks like a masquerade thing, like one of those fancy like bird masks.
But he is like flapping his arms like he's a chicken. And pointing with his elbows. It's very weird.
It's weird, but they definitely just raided the costume center next door. They had all these extra costumes laying around in the studio now, and so they're like in California. So
Mark's costume's amazing, I gotta say.
What is it, Adam? What is it?
He is a grandfather clock, where the face is his face. And like he's got a 6 on his chin, and the rest of the numbers are like surrounding him. Like it's very, was it the arm of it's like the hit like a tie.
That's right.
And he's got like, it looks like leggings on underneath it, like pantyhose.
Yeah, it's pretty eccentric. And he's dancing. Everybody's dancing, having a good time. Even the people who are talking are just bopping back and forth. All the lights are on, by the way, because the parents are there just chaperoning. And then and Kenan enters.
Yes. He is disguised as what?
A ninja.
Yes. Face hidden, wearing all black, and he drops off the gift. He is confronted by Sharla.
Adam, this scene between Sharla and Kenan could be happening in 2021 because Sharla has a mask around her neck and Kenan is wearing a mask as the ninja. Just wanted to point that out.
I think it's cool.
I think they predicted the pandemic.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I gotta say, in the background, there's someone dressed as a nurse, and I'm glad that Charlotte's not that way. She's dressed as a full-on surgeon, which kind of tells you a little bit about what she sees herself doing. Yeah,
she's very competent and aware of how smart she is.
Yeah, so she introducing herself to this guy who Kenan's like, my name's Bernard. And what does he say to her?
He's like, don't you work at that grocery store? What is it, Ragby's?
He's like, Rigby's. He's like, oh yeah. Don't you work with that one, like, what's his name, Kenan? And he describes himself in a very particular way. Clever, boyishly handsome.
And she says, I think he's a jerk. And Kenan's like, what? I mean, what? He's trying to pretend to still be Bernard. And
she sees through his ruse and calls him out.
She's like, I know it's you, Kenan.
Yeah, which that is the first hint of a kind of Charla-Kenan relationship, I'd say.
Oh, absolutely. I was going to say, yep.
And it seems a little one-sided, too, from the saying Kenan's the one that's got the cards.
Seems like he does have a crush a little bit, trying to fish for compliments.
They talk about it, and Charlotte's like, oh, why are you here? I thought you said it was stupid. And he's like, mind your own business.
We find out that the Crams have run out of spinach yet again. 2 years in a row.
Oh, darn. And what's it time for?
It's time for the dance party.
And everyone dances. Mark dances, Kel dances, and then Bernard dances.
Mark dances, Kel dances, then Mark and Kel dance together.
That's true.
It's very, very bad. And then Bernard dances, even though he's supposed to be incognito, and he's making the most of it. And there's like disco music playing. It's pretty horrendous, to be honest.
There's like a 10-second loop of music, and I feel like when they filmed this scene, they thought the music was going to be way better than it ended up being. They got Coolio for the theme song, and it's like boom, boom, like 10 seconds of that is all they have for the party.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah. Kenan kind of corners Kel, and he's just like, "Hey, how's it going, Ninja?" Kel, it's me. I'm sorry, I don't know Ninja.
Kel is also fishing punch, with his hands. He doesn't use a ladle or anything.
That's really wrong. He's like, "Hey, Kenan." There's something that happens here is that once it's revealed that Kenan was secretly Bernard, Mark, like the father in the prodigal son story, runs over to Kenan and embraces him.
And he jumps on him.
Yeah, gives him like a full body hug with his legs and everything. He's like, "Kenan, I'm glad you made it. Your ear surgery was a success."
It's like, ear surgery? What?
And he's like, "Yeah, that's what Charlotte said." And Charlotte's like, "Oh no," and it's all coming undone.
She like runs away.
So Kenan pulls Cal aside and he's like shouting at him. He's like, "You knew that? Why didn't you tell me?"
Yeah, blah blah blah. And it's pretty much like how this scene ends up going. It's like, oh no! Then the Crams basically have Mark go open presents. And
open this one. It's from Kenan and the horrible ending of Mark being sprayed on his birthday with motor oil occurs.
Which was probably chocolate syrup, but we don't know for sure. And that is the end of the episode. It's pretty anticlimactic if you ask me.
It's the same situation as I think it's remember the answering machine episode?
Yes.
It's like you see the ending coming like way too soon, and you have to sit there and cringe as you watch it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Back on stage, I'll tell you what occurs.
Is that CBS All Access?
Kel says, "Did you get the feeling that Mark didn't like your present?" And Kenan's like, "Oh, you mean the motor oil that sprayed on him and his guest and all over his house? Yeah, no, I think he liked it." And then he says, Kel's like, "That was a great party. I especially like that game that we played at the end. What was it called?" And Ken was like, "Get Out Now?" He's like, "Yeah, that one." We're all running and chasing and yeah. So Kel feels kind of bad that for what happened to Mark, and Kenan knows how to make it up to him.
Of course.
So he tells Kel to get him a pony, a petunia, and a big ball of twine, and meet him at the dairy farm.
That sounds like a Vermin Supreme candidacy promise.
Yeah, it does.
We're going to make the biggest ball of yarn, and every American will get a pony.
Yeah. So he does that. Kel says, "All here goes." And that's the episode.
That's the episode.
So, Aaron, whose fault do you think this episode is?
It's 100% Kenan's fault.
Yeah. Lots of little faults along the way, but he knocked that first domino over, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he was just mean to Mark. You can't be mean to somebody who's trying to be nice to you.
Yeah. Mark has been, across these 3 episodes, nothing but a nice, good person. And Kenan sees him as an absolute villain.
That's right. Yeah, he vilifies him, and just like then when Mark is being nice, what happens is Kenan makes him the bad guy. It's almost like Kenan doesn't want to see the faults in his own self, so he just projects faults onto everybody he sees.
Yeah, he can't be the one in the wrong. It's got to be like Mark that's the bad guy.
Seems like Kenan is a lot like all of us.
That makes him a good protagonist then.
That's right. And I do want to say, I think it's interesting that even though when every episode messes up, I like how Kenan promises to make it better, like in something that happens at the very end of the episode off stage. He's like, "I know what to do. We'll do this, this, and this, and meet me at the mall."
Like the bully at school, he does his best work off screen.
That's right.
So, that's our episode. You want to get into ratings?
Let's get into ratings.
All right. On IMDb, this episode is ranked very low, along with To Catch a Thief, which is it's ranked 53 out of 62. To Catch a Thief, the last episode of last week, was 56. So I think that's crazy that this is above that one.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's given a 7.0 out of 10. Aaron, out of 10 bottles of orange soda, what would you give this episode?
6.5.
All right. Down there for this season.
Yeah, not a good one. It was a stinker.
Mm-hmm. I mentioned Dial Over Oops a moment ago. I think it's very much in line with that one. 7. I like a lot of the earlier part of the episode, but the ending really kills it. So
yeah, the ending kind of messed it up big time.
I'm right in line with IMDb. Did you get a chance to watch Kenan the sitcom yet?
I watched it. I watched the first episode.
Oh, what do you think?
Okay. Do you want to know the premise, the plot?
Yes.
Okay, so Kenan is the father to 2 daughters, young daughters, and his wife, their mom, died.
Oh, that's sad.
And so the whole show is him trying to like cope with that. And so
does he have some extra guy friends living with him?
Yeah, there's like an old man living with him, and then like his buddy who's like always around the house. And so it's like these three men kind of trying to raise these two daughters.
Full House. You're describing Full House.
Oh my God! Wait, it is Full House because he's a talk show host.
He's
a morning show host. It's like a black Full House. That's what it is. Oh my God.
Yeah, but mine is like Michelle.
Oh my God. That's awful. Oh, he literally has a morning show.
Wow.
In Atlanta. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's not very good. I have to keep watching though, because I do want to. There were some moments that were very tender and raw, so I do want to kind of.
Good. Yeah.
Kind of go back.
It's a sitcom. It's or I should say, it's a modern. I'm sure he's doing that for the healthy paycheck to finally be on prime time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's well produced, and I'm sure a lot of people like it. So
yeah, well, that's a really great though. It's just Full House.
Literally, it is Full House. That is crazy.
I didn't know his wife died. As soon as you said that, I'm like, wait a second.
That is not an original idea at all, in the slightest.
No, so we'll continue with Kenan and Kel.
Yeah, we'll keep it going. All right, until next time when we have what episode, Adam?
IQ Can Do Better. A very classic one, if you ask me.
Yeah, I remember it.
The IQ test episode. So, until then.
Here it goes, Fantas.
Thank you for listening. You can send us an email at KenanCalPodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at anchor.fm/KenanCalPodcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all at KenanCalPodcast.